And welcome to Chart of the Day Cafe for Thursday, April 19th, 2018. Disclaimer quickly, trading stocks is a high level of risk and viewers should complete their own due diligence on any stock or underlying that they intend to own. 100% of the content of this video and communique is intended for journalistic and educational purposes only. This video and all indicators, strategies, and articles herein should not be construed as investment advice, not making any recommendations, always for your further homework. Good morning, Sue here. Hope you've had a great week so far. It has certainly been a bullish one in the markets, but it looks as though there's a little weakness coming in this morning. So with that, let's get into today's video. If you know me, you know I always start my videos off with a look at the Russell Index. Why? Because I always want to make sure before I put any new names forward for my watch list, I'm putting them forward in a rising market environment. And I use the Russell as my proxy for the markets overall. So specifically, I'm looking at the IWM, which is the ETF that represents the Russell 2000, and I like to step back and take a look at it on a 5-year monthly time frame. So I've taken away all my drawings, and I like to see the sequence of candles from the prior several months. So here's January. We had that beautiful parabolic move in January, but weakness came in at the end of the month. Brought us all the way back down to this lower wick area on February. We went all the way up in March, all the way back down to here in April, and look where we are right here right now. So we're getting into that upper area where price was rejected in the past. The candle so far for the month is bullish, but we still have half of the month to go. So with the 8-day, this is the 8-day EMA, it was starting to flatten out there a little bit. It's got that lift because of our April candle, but it needs to stay strong or else it's going to get flat again. So we want to be aware of those metrics in the market. I'm going to move it away. Actually, before I do that, let me put my drawings back in. Sorry about that. It's going to get a bit cluttered. We're ignoring these lines down here for now. This is long-term support resistance, medium. Pink is short-term, so I'm really focusing in on this area here, the blue and the black, the convergence of these two lines. The most important line on my chart is this black diagonal line. Why? Because it held price in on the Russell through all of 2017, and then we had a breakout to the upside. It stayed up in that upper level, up and over this black diagonal line until February, where price had that extreme sell-off, brought us below, hit our prior area of short-term support, and bounced, but it struggled there again the following month, and here we are for April. So we've peaked out, and we're up and over both the blue and the black, but we need to stay there. So I want to show you how it looks on the weekly. I'm spending a little time on this because I think it's really important. So this is the daily. Here's the candle from yesterday that looks a little exhausted. Here's the weekly look. So what I like to see is an open and close up and over my trend line on the weekly. We still have 2 days to go in the week. I need to see this candle stay strong for the week and up and over this area. So I don't want to see that weakness come in. So I'm going to be watching that pretty carefully. But overall, on the Russell, I'm going to zoom it out a little bit. We had a low here. This is the weekly. We're looking at the 9-month weekly. This is the same black diagonal line and that blue line that's so important. So we had a swing low here on the weekly, a higher low here. We are up and over the black, but we need to stay there because we don't want to see that weakness creep in like it did in the past. So I hope that's clear. And again, let's take a look at the daily. Exhaustion a little bit up here, and it looks like we're going to get a lower open, so we just don't want to see it move below our black trend line. But with price on the Russell overall showing that strength and up and over the blue line, which is the 8-day EMA, I am going to profile a new name for our watch list this morning, so stay tuned. And the chart that I wanted to highlight for you this morning that I will be adding to my own personal watch list is Fortis Inc., ticker symbol FTS. This is a dual-listed company, Canadian company, listed on the New York Stock Exchange. We are looking at it on the U.S. side. It is formerly St. John Electric Light, Canadian utility. So we're looking at the 2-year weekly chart. It only goes back 2 years because of that takeover of the former company. But as you can see on the 2-year weekly chart, it is uptrending and sitting at an area of support here, my orange line. It's been bouncing around that area and consolidating, but it's starting to get that lift up and over the 8-day EMA, which I like to see. So that's the 2-year weekly. Let's take a look at it on the shorter time frame for 9-month daily. So what I'm noticing here is I'm going to put a trend line in right here and change the color to blue. I'm looking for a breakout of this area here. So you can see from that weekly chart that we looked at, it's been consolidating all through these weeks, but it's starting to build this ascending wedge pattern. And it finished with a doji yesterday right at this important area that was support in this area before it fell through. So this blue line is pretty important to this stock. It's got beautiful scores underneath it. You know me, I am all about the scores underneath the charts I feature. So Fortis has a beautiful value score, a forecasted earnings growth rate going forward of 21%, a current PE of 10.59, and a dividend yield of 3.98%. Those are all good metrics, the ones that I really like to see. So finished with a doji yesterday. Should the markets recover from the early morning weakness that I see coming in at pre-market, this is one that I would be keeping an eye on. It's all about Fortis being able to clear this blue line and make it up and over into this area. So I'll be looking for a move into my green circle. So keep an eye on Fortis in this area. Along with my new watch list pick, I also like to take a look at the sector that it's in, and for that we're looking at XLU, which is the ETF for the utilities sector. 2-year weekly chart, much like Fortis, in an uptrend overall, sitting at an area of support. My orange line been consolidating for weeks and looks as though it wants to move up and over the blue 8-day EMA for a breakout here. We will see. It's all about what the market wants to do overall, but like the look of this sector as well. Additionally, I like to look at seasonality, and so for that I go to equityclock.com, a really excellent site. I recommend it highly. I want to see if my new watch list pick has seasonal favor, and sure enough, Fortis does come into that seasonal strength at this time of year. I also like to spin over to FinBiz and see if I've got analyst upgrades on my new watch list pick, and sure enough, recent upgrades from CIBC and Raymond James for Fortis. You can go down to this section of FinBiz to see. There are also some positive articles there. All good. And so to check the boxes, I started today's video with a look at the IWM, and we note that it's in an overall uptrend with price up and over that 8-day EMA on the daily chart. Having said that, it's experienced weakness in the last several months, and it's coming into that area where price has been rejected in the past. So we want to be super careful in this area. We looked at the ETF for the sector that FTS is in, XLU, and it's in an uptrend on the 2-year chart and looks like it wants to break out as well. We looked at FTS in an uptrend on the 2-year chart. It's been consolidating at an area of possible price strength and continuation. It's got a great value score. It's got an excellent growth score with a forecasted earnings growth rate going forward of 21%, a current dividend yield of 3.98%. It does have that 3 and 8 EMA cross, which I look for, but I still want to see it break up over that blue line. So I want to see the breakout and the cross up and over the blue. It's got seasonality in its favor, analyst support, current PE of 10.59, and it looks like earnings are on May 1st. Thank you for watching today's video, and have a great next couple of days. My next video goes out on Tuesday. Thanks for watching.